There are so many types of love, and we need all of them. And platonic love is just as important as your romantic love. So today, I want to talk about the importance of having friends. Hello and welcome to Ladies Listen Up. I am your host, Gwendolyn G.R. Houston Jack. Friends. I immediately think of Houdini, so I know my age is showing when I say that. But we need friends. You need friends just as much as you need your romantic love, right? It just can't be the one. We need all of them to really balance us out. And when you think about your friends, your really good friends, like your best friend, when things don't go well, that heartbreak, oh my goodness, it's crazy. So, of course, I have to have a guest to help me talk about the importance of platonic love. Let's go ahead and get her in. Welcome, Josie Pickens. Welcome. How are you, ma'am?
I am wonderful and excited to be here to have this conversation with you.
Now, I have to reintroduce you because people may not have met you the first time you were here on the show. So let me tell you real quick about Josie, right? She's a writer, a speaker, an organizer, and an educator. And her work focuses on conversations around race, gender, sexuality, and pleasure. I always say she's like a pleasure activist. This is Josie Pickens, who also happens to be the better version of Gwendolyn? Yeah. Yes. One of my very best friends.
I don't know about that. Listen, I'm over here like, whoa, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of
You
pressure.
know,
You're a
at
great
the end of the
version.
day,
You're a great version, you know?
well, it's that yin and yang, right? It's the yin and yang. So today's conversation is going to be pretty free flowing, but we're going to use our friendship. I forgot. Ooh, girl, it's years, right? Like 30? 30?
Our 30-year reunion is coming
31?
up. So it's been more than 30 years. Our
Yeah,
30-year
oh my
reunion
god.
is
So it's
coming
like
up in
34?
2024.
Oh
Next year, it'll be 30 years since we graduated from high school.
right. Right.
So, and we were friends all throughout high school. So we're kind of embarking on about 35 years of friendship.
Well, since we are doing the math, and clearly the math is still math, and so just hey, let me let's get into let's get into why all we need is love. All right, Joe. So since you are the pleasure activist,
Yeah.
all right, I'm going to let you just give us a brief explanation or definition of platonic love and why is it important to our emotional health?
First of all, I guess I should begin by saying that we should be working towards experiencing all kinds of love and recognizing those relationships as valuable, right? So, whether we're talking about familial love, platonic love, romantic love, all of these loves should kind of usher us into this kind of communal love,
Hmm.
which Bell Hooks says is like the ultimate love that we should be trying to experience. Every love that we experience should be feeding into this kind of collective community love that we have and that we share. When I think about platonic love, I am thinking about, our friendships. This is the kinds of relationships that a lot of times are our longest lasting relationships, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I am a 3-year cycle girl in romantic relationships. After about 3 years, I'm like, oh, moving on from that. 3 years is the top. Um, Sadly, I'm working on that. I'm going through a great therapeutic process around that, unpacking that. But anyway, as I said, you and I have been friends for almost 35 years now. So actually,
Yeah.
what longest lasting relationships are my platonic and familial relationships, right?
Yeah.
And the relationships that I have in community. So that is something that we should think about when we're thinking about platonic love. And we should be thinking about how to value platonic love
Mhm.
in the same ways that society teaches us to value romantic love. I remember when I started thinking about and writing about platonic relationships and relationships with our girlfriends,
Mhm.
I was amazed at how little information was available. Like there really
Mm.
aren't any books.
Mm-mm.
There aren't any public conversations around like, well, how do you repair friendships? Like, oh, when things fall apart in our platonic relationships, how do we repair that? There are millions of books literally on how to repair our romantic relationships.
Tons. Yeah.
And those books are geared towards women because it's women who are responsible for maintaining the health, quote unquote, of our romantic relationships, right? But like there are no conversations happening around, well, how do we keep the fire going in
Yeah.
our platonic relationships?
Yeah.
We also are taught that we put those platonic relationships on the back burner when we do end up in romantic relationships,
I was
right?
gonna say that.
There's
Yeah.
an expectation that you just ditch your friends.
Yes. Yeah,
When
I was,
you
is it now, obviously, we're speaking from a woman's perspective, right? But
right.
you do see it often, and there's movies about it, there's TV shows about it, where the
Yes.
moment a woman gets her mate, she
Uh-huh.
just dumps everything. Everything is centered on that person and that person alone, and
Mhm.
it becomes her identity, and she
Mhm.
completely loses who she is. And I
Right.
hate to say it like that, but that's the narrative that's currently out there. But even in society, they make it sound as if you don't have a partner and all you
Mhm.
have is your friends, you're
Mhm.
lacking. And that's a
You
lie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. You're a cat
Those
lady.
those are lies.
You're you know, one of the greatest things that I think that I did in my life, as someone who has been a serial monogamist, is recognizing that the relationships that often sustain me are my platonic relationships
Mhm,
and learning
mhm.
how to stay invested in those relationships. And also learning that those relationships can also be amorous, right? So, you know, I am a black woman who is um sexually fluid, I guess I would say. Um and so I date all kinds of people.
Mhm.
What I found though is that a lot of people think that my platonic friends, whether male, female, or you know, somewhere in between, like, are you dating such and such? Oh, are you dating this person? Are you dating this woman? Are you dating this man? And at first, it used to be so strange to me. Now I just say yes. Ask if we're dating, G, I'm going to say yes. So please tell the mister, you know, apologize on my behalf that I'm starting having an
Well,
affair with you. But
if
I
if
think
I
it
could if I could
is.
if I could put an example like that, because my work husband Ron,
Mhm.
he's clearly a gay man, in my opinion. I mean, I don't think there's any way to mistake it, right? But he's always said, "Well, this is my work wife. This is my work wife." And then he went to, "My wife is coming in from Texas to come visit when I left New York," right? And someone said, "Wait, Ron's married? How did he?" You know, because we will be arm in arm, we'll hold hands, like we look
Right.
like a couple, but it's like no,
Amorous. It may not be necessarily quote unquote romantic, but
right?
I show up in relationship with my friends in an amorous way. I'm
Yes,
lovey dovey. I'm sweet and syrupy.
yeah.
Like, I love my friends. I look at them, like, my eyes get all heart eye emojied when I see them. I celebrate them. I call
Mhm,
them my love.
mhm,
I tell them that I love them. And so, for a lot
mhm.
of people, they imagine that that can only exist in romantic
Yeah,
relationships. So when
yeah,
they see me have those kinds of relationships with people, they just automatically assume, oh, it's romantic,
yeah,
and it's like, no,
yeah.
like, yes, I've had to have, you know, not necessarily some conversations with partners of my friends, but
Mhm.
like that, "Hey, I'm harmless. I love your person," but in a platonic way, even though it may look like something else, you know?
Well, society has a hard time being an adult when it
Right,
comes to what's
right.
platonic and what is. Like, if someone just says,
Now we
"Hey, how
value
are you?" They're like, "Are you flirting with me? I'm just being a good human. Calm down.
right,
Like, just
right.
calm down."
You're
We
not even
immediately go
cute.
to, "No, not. I think you're flirt with me." Okay, so I'm a Virgo. People are put in boxes, right?
Right.
I got a lot of boxes, and I am very straightforward. You always know where you stand. So the idea of, "I just could have sworn you were flirting." No, not even. I don't know where you got that idea from.
Flirting.
Like, not even, not even,
Was not
not.
flirting, actually.
But I wanna return to something really quick because, we do have a lot of years on us. Look,
A
had
lot of
that come out.
years in this thing.
But there was a point, like any relationship where
Mhm.
we grew apart,
Yeah,
right? It was, like, right after high school. We
right.
we we grew apart,
Mhm.
and I remember the first time I came back to Houston, and I'm trying to think, there was a club or something down close to Chinatown, and I ran into you. It was, like, myself and my sister, and you were there, and I tell you, I was like, my heart was like, "Oh my god, it's Joe." Don't see that, and I wasn't sure, like, are we on talking terms or not? Because it had been so many years that had
Yeah,
passed, and I was
yeah.
like, but it felt so good to see you and to be
Mhm.
like, "Oh my god, here's my friend Joe," and
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
I
But
remember
but
that. I
it
remember us, we've had listen, it's been 35 years, so we've had a couple of little falling outs, little moments of not speaking, and I think that that is normal in any relationship
it
as
is.
we grow and we evolve into different people, and
Yeah,
sometimes we are changing in ways that
yeah.
we need to like find common ground again with the people
Mhm,
that we love, even our friends. And
mhm,
I think the
mhm.
disservice that we have is that we again nobody teaches us how to communicate that. Like we are
No.
very much like, oh, well, I've changed. I'm not the person I used to be, and my old friends, I just have to let them go. Right, but we are not encouraged to do that in marriage
No, you
or
grow. You
romantic.
grow as a
You
couple
have to
in your
grow,
marriage.
you have to grow, you have to do the work, you have to learn how to communicate, you have to learn how to find common ground. And I think that in moments when we have been disconnected, it is because we maybe had not reached a point, I know I hadn't, where we understood that like, oh, this person that I love and care for is changing and transitioning into someone new,
Mhm,
and like
mhm.
I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
So, what does that look like? How do I communicate that? Like how do I stay connected to someone who is evolving into another person? Like, what
Mm,
does that look like? We don't know how to have those conversations with friends.
no. No, and you
We don't
have
know how to
to.
grow together. We really don't.
No, we don't, 'cause it's just there are so many unspoken things, and the growth part is the biggest one because you can outgrow your partner. You
Mhm,
can definitely outgrow a relationship. Like, when you realize, and I have let go of some friendships. I've let them go because
mhm.
that relationship was not serving me. It just
Right.
wasn't. And
Yeah.
when you think about all that you put in, and not that it's about receiving, but it needs to be something close to 50-50.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
Reciprocal relationships. That's
Yeah.
the thing. It's not
Right.
about evolving or
See
changing.
see, that's
It is
that
about
fancy word I was looking for, but I just didn't have it.
yeah, it's about like intentionality. Like, yes, I'm changing, I'm evolving. This person is changing and evolving, but my intention is to
Mhm,
stay connected and on a road
mhm,
somewhere
mm,
together with this person,
mm,
like
mm.
in alignment. Sometimes that doesn't work out. I have
Yeah.
friendships that I've had to cut loose because I didn't feel like they were reciprocal
Mhm.
friendships, where
Yeah.
I felt like I was receiving as much as I was giving. So yes, that has happened, but one of the things that I think has saved us over the years is that like we want to be in relationship with each other.
Yeah.
And there is an
Well, you're
intentionality that
kinda
happens in
cool, kinda intelligent, and I almost said something I forget what I am.
that. No curse words, I've been telling myself that. I'm like,
Well,
"No,"
okay, so
telling
it
myself
and
as we were
it
getting
was
ready.
interesting. So, was interesting, like, some of the things that brought us together were that we are, I say fairly we are highly intelligent women, like, hands down, trust that, trust.
Yeah,
We those chicks in school, but, like, we had the same address, our fathers both came from Louisiana, they had the same first name, we had all
yeah,
kinds
we
of
lived a couple of
together.
blocks away from each other, you
We had
know.
all these, and I was telling you just the other day, um, that, when we talk about those different universes and how you
Mhm.
are that better version, I told you, I wanted to be a writer. I was like, "I'm gonna write for a magazine," and then I got in there and I thought, "Not happening." Yet you followed that path, and I collected your articles, very brown sugarish, okay? Very brown
We both
sugar.
started out as star writers in our high school. Like, you have that photograph. There's a photograph where, like, on the,
Right.
marquee in
On the
front of the
marquee.
school, we
Mhm.
had won some type of, like, writing award and some
WYL. Yeah.
citywide
Yeah.
competition, and
Mhm.
both of our names were there. So, yeah.
Mhm. We were doing some stuff, and I was like, "Oh," and then I thought, "Well, I'm gonna be a professor because I love teaching," and I forgot that I am a slacker. Like, I understand, but I am still that kid who will do stuff sometimes night before and and knock it out the park. I was like, "I don't even feel like going to class." They're like, "But you're
Yeah.
the teacher." I was like, "Is it gonna snow today?" I
Yeah.
thought it was gonna snow today, right? I could have sworn, but yet you have done that work. I thought, see Joe is doing because
You
this
know,
slacker, this is
I
like,
too
no.
am a slacker, but, maybe I had, I was able to you were able to see some other paths and go in other directions. I
Yeah.
think that's all it is, but
So
we
we
both.
did adult education. So we did leave that and went to adult education. Instead of writing for a magazine, we wrote for a company. So we were still writing, but it was just
It.
but yeah, but it was still in there. But I stop and think about the maintenance of it and the growth. And we have had our hard conversations.
Yeah.
But I always talk about like communication should be caring and compassionate and
Mhm.
consistent and gracious. Like
Yeah.
it should have all these things. There is a way to be honest with your loved ones, your family, your friends,
Yeah,
and still be gracious about it.
that's
You don't
it.
have to like try
Treat
to
them like
hurt
you
people.
love them.
Right. Right. And
Treat
we've
people
had
like
to
you
have a couple, right? And I thought, are we gonna make it? We're not gonna make it.
love them. Yeah. Like, this thing that you said or did hurt me. And
Mhm.
the acknowledgement of that, and on both sides,
Both
and
sides.
the
Both
acknowledgement
sides.
of that, and
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I wasn't trying to hurt you.
Right.
Oh, how we
Right.
fix it?"
But
You know?
recognizing it, and most importantly, wanting to do the work to fix it, to
That's it.
repair it, to be a better partner in this relationship, because it is a
Yeah,
partnership, like you said,
partnership.
reciprocal. It's a partnership.
That's
Mhm.
it. That's it. We have to learn how to communicate, and
Mhm.
communicate effectively, and as you said, communicate with love.
Yeah.
And there are no it's like when people are like, "Oh, hard truths," like, you have to confront people with hard truths. I'm like, the truth doesn't have to be hard.
No,
The
no.
truth can be soft and gentle.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
and I'm somebody with a mouth. Like, I can deliver a hard truth.
Well,
Like, for the people that I love, why would I do that?
yeah,
I
like,
don't
why?
need to tough love people
Mm-mm.
that I love.
No.
No, the world is tough. I
By
wanna
itself.
be gentle with the people that I love,
Yeah.
and learning how to communicate in those ways, and ways that mean I value this relationship,
Mhm,
and I want this relationship to continue. And there are ways to have hard conversations, there are ways to set
mhm.
boundaries, there are ways to do all of that in a way that is fruitful
Yeah.
and moves us closer to relationship. You
Mhm.
know, it's like when you're in couples therapy and the therapist is like, "Do you wanna be right or do you wanna be in love?" You know? You bring that same attitude into your platonic
Yeah.
relationship. There literally is nothing that we are taught about romantic relationships and how to maintain them that we
Mhm.
should not be applying to our platonic relationships.
Yeah. Well, that's a great segue because my husband, I learned later that he talked to you before he even, like, posed the question to me, and I thought, "Wait, what? Where did this happen?" But as you mentioned, in so many stories that we see in society, when
Yeah,
you get your romantic partner, you just shut out
yeah,
everything about your friends and that part of you, and it's still a part of you, but there is a way that your romantic partner can be part of that friendship and
yeah.
include them in special moments as he did. I was like, "Wait, you guys talked about this?
It's so
When did this go down?"
let me tell you, nobody was rooting for this couple like I was and this is something that also is something that we have to like maneuver through. I can remember
Mhm,
when you became engaged and when you were getting married, I was coming out of an engagement and breaking up
mhm,
from a relationship. And that could have been a very difficult time
mhm.
of me supporting my friend
Yeah.
because there and this is something that happens in platonic relationships, right? Like
Mhm,
you see
mhm.
your friend moving forward and doing some of the things that you've wanted to do in your life,
Yeah.
and receiving the kind of love and care that you want to receive, and there can be moments of
Mhm.
like jealousy.
Yeah.
um Luckily I was just, if you know Gwendolyn at all, she's a hard nut to crack. So, seeing her in love and so bubbly and
Oh my
so
god.
seeing this, like, light and shine on her, there is no way that I could say that I love her and not fully support and
Mm,
encourage that in any
mm.
way possible. And so, like, but that's something that happens, and I've
Yeah,
known people who have had relationships break up because their friends couldn't be happy for
yeah,
them.
yeah,
That dry hating, that
yeah,
frenemies shit stuff.
yeah. And we see but here's the deal. We see it in all the things because again, I am the person I will support your win is my win. It's just not
Yes,
my season yet. Like my time is coming, but my
right.
friends are doing it. And I want to be front row and center. I have gotten on 45 South a many a time to be like,
Yeah.
I'm here, Joe. I am here to support you, dadgum, and everybody better I better clap. Come on.
Let me tell you. That is the truth. Like, I
Mhm.
think about when I had my book signing and, like, I don't know what that day would have been without you and your
Yeah.
support and, your encouragement, you know, I just it would not have been the same.
Yeah.
And in those moments where you can have those kinds of, like, moments of triumph and you
Mhm.
can look out and see somebody who has been there through every moment since you were kids.
Yeah.
Like, it really is a beautiful thing, and it is, something that I want us to be old ladies,
Mhm.
still doing this
Mhm.
same thing.
Yeah.
I would not have it any other way.
Ugh. Oh, okay. So let us transition because I don't want to make sure we share some things with people about how they can maintain it all. We can have
Mhm.
it all. All right. So I think I'm recalling some young women that I've spoken to who
Mhm.
have ended friendships because, as you say, people aren't happy for them or it gets kind of wonky and things of that nature. What advice do you have to
Mm.
keep keep the fire burning. Clearly, there is some growth involved there. There's some emotional intelligence. There's a lot of stuff in there, but there also
Yeah.
has to be a want. A
Yes.
want.
Sis, you got to invest in your friendships in the same way that you invest in
There you go.
relationships with
Yeah.
your romantic folks.
Yeah.
It's the same. It should be the same kind of investment.
Hmm.
It may look different,
Hmm.
but the intentionality should be the same.
Yeah.
In the same way that when you're having an argument or you feel distance with your romantic partner, when you
Yeah.
feel that with your platonic partner, with your friends, you should be doing the same work to heal that. You know, hey, if you need to see a therapist around your friendship
Proud to
because
get one.
it's rough, and you feel like it's worth the investment,
Hmm.
do that work.
Hmm.
Um, and handle your friendships with care. Don't abandon them when you are moving on to other things in your life. When you find a
Oh,
romantic partner, now everybody's gonna have their nothing even matters moments, that honeymoon stage where you disappear from everyone, family, friends, all of that for a couple
yeah.
of months. Okay. And then as a friend, you're supposed to be able to sit back and be like, oh, my girl is in love. She got her new boo. Like, hey, girl, I'm just checking in. Everything okay? Be able to encourage that, and allowing space for things to settle,
Mhm.
but also recognizing when you come out of that honeymoon stage where it's, my man, my man, my man, for a short time, that you are also, while you're in that stage, checking in with your friends, making time for your friends, and then like reacclimating yourself to the friendship, and
Yeah.
even bringing your partner into the friendship. Like, I love
You
your
read
husband.
my mind. You
I love your husband.
literally read my mind. I was like, I was just about to say, because as we mentioned at the beginning of this, people get their romantic partner, completely lose their identity. But
Yeah.
no offense, you can't be with your partner, your romantic partner, all the time. Like you
And your
gotta have your own hobbies, your own group of friends. I
Yeah.
do include my husband. He's met Spencer. He clearly knows you. He talks to people that I talk to. Right? I
Yeah.
include him in it. So it's like now we're not Siamese twins, but
Right.
I'm like, hey, you can come with us because he's been invited. He's been invited. He's like, nah, that's okay. I'm good. But at
Yeah.
least they invite him to come hang out with us.
I think it's also important to, as we're thinking about that, like just like you said, making sure that our new partners are a part of our platonic relationships, making sure that we are building bridges around that. And also recognizing that one of the main reasons that our platonic relationships are important, even as we're moving into romantic relationships, is so that our romantic partners do not feel the pressure of fulfilling every need that we have. Because that's where our platonic relationships come in. I'm
Yeah.
currently in a relationship. My partner is like, girl, you can talk. And guess who can talk? It's me. So I know that, okay,
She's like, yeah.
I can call Gwendolyn and we can have a 3-hour conversation. Or a number of my other friends. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm not relying on my romantic partner to fulfill every need that I have. I have rich, fulfilling friendships where I
Yeah.
can go on dates with my friends. Like, listen,
Right.
I want to try this new restaurant. I want to have this art experience. I want to go to see this symphony. It might be something that my partner might not be
Mhm,
into. I want
mhm.
to go to this party. Like, and so knowing that I have my platonic relationships to fulfill some of that, it takes the strain off of my romantic relationship. And it also allows me space to continue to like build my platonic relationships because we
Ugh,
need both. And that's why that conversation around communal love is so important. Like, because
ugh.
we have all of these different types of love, we don't experience this loneliness. And self-love is in there too.
It is in there. It is.
Yeah.
And here's the,
Spend
you
time
know
with self,
what I'm thinking to
right?
myself, clearly we'll have to do something outside of this to continue this conversation because
We got
just like
to.
that, like it just kind of Our time just flies by.
It
But
always
Joe, really
does.
quickly, how can people find you?
Oh, so you can find me on I'm mostly on Instagram, surprisingly. I realize that I'm like an aesthetic, like visual girl.
Mhm.
So I spend a lot of time on IG, but I do share a lot of my writing there with links and so forth. So you can find me on Instagram at Joe Nubian. You can also find me on Facebook because I have entered my auntie season. And so I find myself being on Facebook. I can curate it better.
Mhm.
And so I am Josie Pickens on Facebook. You can follow me there. I'm not so much on X as I used to be, but I'm also Joe Nubian there. If you want to give me a little follow there, and feel free to reach out to me, message me if you want to talk about these topics.
Sweet. Thank you
Oh,
again for
thank
always
you.
giving us your time. And for all the ladies out there, hug your girlfriends. But I will say this, give yourself the space and grace to grow and learn. Thank you.